let's get on with what we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm so excited to welcome, and again, super excited because this is again the first episode of the launch of the Inspired to Thrive series for the Mompreneurs Group. So this time I have the beautiful guest, or this first time I have the beautiful guest, Melissa Wilkes, from the founder of Improve Yourself. And those of you who perhaps watched the launch of Inner Strength to Inner Size on Monday may recognize I have Melissa here again. So if you didn't go and watch our conversation all around guilt-free eating, I would highly recommend you should do that. And I'll ask one of my VAs to pop in the link to that replay later on for you so you can jump in and enjoy. So first things first, I have my conscious cuppa right here and ready. It's really important to stay hydrated and things like that, you know, as we do. I know that Melissa has her conscious cuppa with her. I'm sure she will have a drink of some form. Yep, she does. Beautiful. And if you want to know anything about me, please feel free to ask. Drop any questions in the comment box. I'm not going to go into a long introduction, but please let me know any questions. I'm sure I will, you know, certainly reply to them. And if you're watching the replay, please hashtag replay. Ask any questions you wish throughout, and Melissa or I will get back to you. So let me introduce Melissa, nutritional coach and founder of Improve Yourself. And again, I apologize if you have heard this before, if you were jumping on the live on Monday, but I want to introduce her properly because really, what is her superpower? She helps women move from confused and guilty around food to making healthier food choices, listening to their body's needs and up-leveling their health, which in turn increases their energy and also leaves them feeling re-inspired to live life to the fullest. And while she does this for her clients, it's also her top priority to do this for herself. Juggling home, kids and businesses, she's the perfect mompreneur for us to talk to, I believe, in launching this series. And she says it's super important to stay on top of these things for herself as well as for her clients. So our topic tonight is top tips for health and nutrition. However, I feel that the tips Melissa is going to share with us tonight will serve any business owner. So I'd love you to stay tuned. And why is Melissa perhaps so passionate about sharing this topic with us? I think I'll let her answer that herself. That could be one of the questions that we can go into. But first of all, I'd like to ask you, Melissa, what do most people misunderstand about your field of work?
Oh, okay. What do most people misunderstand? Oh, that it's going to be super easy, that it's going to be short hours. It's definitely rewarding. I love what I do, and I think that it's when you see the changes that you make in people's lives and the results they get, the benefits that they receive, it's just all worth it. It's just such a great field of work to be in. I feel inspired by my clients as well as by the work that I do. So yeah, I feel very grateful to be in this area.
That's fantastic. So why are you so passionate about what made you start your business? What is your passion then about we're talking to this topic about with us tonight?
So I remember experiencing lots of health issues as a child, and it wasn't until I had my third kid that we were dealing with lots of health issues with him before I really realized that, I needed to address it all. We'd just learned to live with it. We'd listen to specialists and doctors and that, putting labels on stuff, and I just knew there had to be a better way of living. And we tried stuff that was different, and most of it was through food. And that's where I started to we just had huge results. And from that, it created a ripple effect. I started talking to people about it and helping them. And I thought, I better get qualified. So I got qualified, and I've just hit the ground running. I haven't looked back. It's something I'm just so passionate about. And I think that from what we've experienced and the changes we've had in our lives, that's just something I want other people to be able to have an experience in their lives as well. Because it's very easy to just put up with symptoms or just, find a way of living around certain things, when there's really such a better way to live. You can, just be full of energy and vitality and, all that sort of good stuff. So, I just love what I do, and want other people to be able to feel the same.
That's beautiful. Thanks so much for sharing. And I can see, I must have to, I want to comment that I could feel the energy coming through the screen. You're just looking so vibrant and just full of life. It truly is inspiration, because I personally can resonate with what you're saying around. And, I work with you anyway as my health coach. And what I'm realizing is that I too notice the difference. Now I'm listening to my body and what it needs, and the impact that the food choices that I make, really the impact it has on not just me, but on my business, my efficiency, my energy. So it's a huge thing, guys. It really is a huge thing. Yeah, so thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you sharing, part of your story, and I know there's so much more to dig into, and who knows, I'm sure we'll get you back again and chat on different things, because I know you're a very busy lady, juggling many things. There's footy training and school runs and, group coaching and cooking clubs and so much more that you do. How do you find balance?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I don't think there really is such thing as balance. I think that, I think that's a kind of a myth. If you think about the fact that we are generally, majority of us are working primarily in a week, 40 to 60 hours. So we're doing that more than we're doing anything else. We're at work or busy in our careers, in our businesses, whatever it is, not just us entrepreneurs, but everybody that works, we're spending majority of our time doing that. So we're actually not, it's kind of impossible to have that balance. So in that, it's important to find time to check out. I know that I used to have a habit, and it still creeps in where, you start working, you're still working, when your family's around, you're checking emails, you're getting messages, you're posting on Instagram. And if you're like me, you're so passionate about what you do, you love it, it lights you up, that it's hard to turn off and switch off. And so what we've done is we've got set nights that I'm allowed to work at night, that doesn't upset the hubby and the kids. And when we just make sure we communicate a lot as well, that we say, hey, I need your time, or I miss you, and that sort of thing. And I think it's important to check in with yourself. I book in certain times during the week that are just for me, where I'm not allowed anywhere near my computer, and just take that time to just, for me personally, be on my own. In summer is definitely at the beach or in nature, because that's what fills my cup and makes me feel alive. In winter, not so much. I generally watch one of my drama shows in peace with no one else around, and might take the dog for a walk. Could be putting music on and just being really silly, or it could just be catching up with friends. And so those things are really important, so that I don't get to that point of feeling burnt out. I think time on your own is a good one to be able to find that balance, because you're checking back in with yourself. And when we have time on our own, we can listen to our body and hear what it's needing, and what it's requiring. Do we need to slow down, or do we need to listen to what's going on? So self-care, check-in, time on our own, all those sort of things to balance it out.
Yeah, no, that's great. Again, I can resonate with a lot of what you're sharing, so thank you, appreciate that. And I'm sure If anyone watching the replay has some comments or questions about that, then please drop them in, and we can get back to you with the answers. So I hear a lot of, business owners and clients of mine, all talking about, walking their talk and those sorts of things, and yet, and then I see in other, or from my observations of, other businesses as well, I see that, it's more of a do as I say, not as I do. There's some sort of incongruence, if you like. So are you more of a walkie talk person? Is that important to you?
Absolutely. And I think that because I didn't do that to start with, that I felt out of alignment. So I did all the health stuff, the nutrition stuff. I was totally nailing it. I did not have a problem. I was eating super clean. Like we made everything from scratch, dairy-free, gluten-free, sugar-free. I was so strict on all those areas. I was getting a good night's sleep and I was drinking lots of water. So I felt like I was doing all the things. But there were certain things that I wasn't doing. And I did feel really out of alignment and I couldn't pick my finger on it. And it wasn't until certain things happened to me before I realized, as it happens, bam, you get that lesson before you realize that you're not in alignment with what you're saying. So I knew I was coaching my clients to do certain things and to see themselves and address all areas of their health. And I wasn't actually doing it, and I was speaking it and not doing it. So that's where I had to go and check in with myself and go, okay, what do I need to do here? Do I need to not be so strict on my food and nutrition, so I can lighten and have a bit of room to have the fun, have the connection with other people, to have that time in the morning to spend on my morning routine, and have that time for the night routine, and have that downtime, and just work on all the other areas. So some people call them primary foods. So they're the other things that's not your food and nutrition. And so they're the areas that I had to work on. And then that's where I realized that it's so important to walk your talk. And there is a lot of people out there that don't. And I think that comes through. And if you want to be really succeeding in your business and as in your own personal growth, that's something that you really have to find the alignment with, and have that as a daily practice.
Yeah, that's right. I agree, because I think there are so many people out there who are selling the next best thing, if you like, and they haven't actually had the journey. So I always say to people out there, when you're considering hiring a coach, a mentor, joining a group, just really take time to suss it out, and make sure that they do have the skills and the expertise and experience that can help you grow in your business and self-development for yourself. Because our time is, it's limited, it's precious. And I think, you and I both know, as business owners, we don't want to just jump into the next, shiny thing. I've done that so much in the past. Learning through experience and things now is that we need to make sure that we utilize our time, in the best way possible. So that's sort of my 2 pence, if you like, on that question that I asked you there. So how do you stay on track, Melissa, when things are tough in business? That sort of like too hard basket, or I know this sometimes crops up for me sometimes, that things that, it's just too hard, I'll do it later. It's normally something techie, something like that I think, it's just too hard, my brain can't handle it right now, and I'll throw it away into another basket. How do you stay on track with things like that when it gets tough?
So I think for me, it is obviously being super organized. I used to be too organized to the point that would stress me out if I wasn't organized. So I had to put, that was that kind of personality there. But being organized means that you're actually more efficient. And I'm not just talking about in your business, I'm also talking about with your family, with your schedules, with your meals. and organization in the home. So being able to open the drawers in your house and find things easy. I know, it's quite easy to go, make the house looks tidy, but it's actually a mess behind the cupboards. So when things are like quite organized, it makes your life so much more efficient. You can find things quickly and you don't get yourself overwhelmed or stressed out. So I think that makes a huge difference. Being organized in the business is definitely, in my opinion, even harder than to organize my family and my home. I find my business, because I love to multitask. So I'm always trying to do like lots of stuff. And I think when I'm multitasking, what happens is then, it can get quite tricky. So, so the other thing, I guess, is knowing when to delegate. So when I delegate to family members, delegate to a virtual assistant, delegating if you need a cleaner, if you're finding that you just don't have the time, get a cleaner or get somebody in, get people to support you. And it's easy as mums to not ask for support, right? But no one's going to do it if we don't ask it. So we've got to ask for that support. And I have my kids help out. They have cooking nights. Hubby has a cooking night, and we've turned it into kind of a fun thing. And even cleaning, having a certain night that people do cleaning, like their little share of cleaning, so that everything's not on my shoulders. I can't run a business and the family and the house and everything all on my own. It's too hard. So, my boys one's in high school and one has a job, and they do their own washing, and they dry it and they fold it and they put it away. And that probably saves me an hour to 2 hours a week. So that's a huge thing. Obviously they're not in primary school, but I did actually start them off quite young. They have chores in the kitchen, the rubbish taken out once a week. So I think, finding ways to have everybody support each other. And if you're on your own and you're running your business, it's definitely easier because you're only picking up after yourself. But yeah, using planners and all different types of organization tools that work for you. There's so many apps these days and things.
Do you have a favorite? I'm curious.
Pardon?
Do you have a favorite, to help you stay organized? I'm just curious.
Well, as you know, I have the business one called Infinity, and I've actually started using it for personal as of this week. So I've started my to-do list and I've started putting it in there and top priorities and that. So I find that I can be good at following up with a business person. So somebody inquired to me about my services or a retreat or something like that, I'm onto it straight away. But when it comes to answering this emails from the school, I take a week to do that. So, and I also have to manage my dad's healthcare and his finances. So I've realized that I should look at getting a management system for him. So I've just been using Outlook Calendar in the past with the reminders and tasks on there. But I think that using something like Infinity would, work out a lot better, I think, to manage and have it all in the one system. So keeping the business and personal separate, but having them so that they, so I'm going to try it out, see how it goes. And yeah, I must be honest, I'm looking at doing the same thing because there are so many tools and tricks out there. And I have a good feeling about Infinity software, that it can actually help us do all the multitasking that we need and stay on track with both personal and business things. So I'm going to be doing the same thing as well. But there are lots of tools out there, guys, for management of, time and tracking. And like you say, even worst case is, a note paper and a pen and a manual calendar, write it down, give yourself the chance and the post-it notes. Yeah, exactly. You write into my notebooks and diaries. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So what are your top 3 tips for us then, just to, if we start sort of wrapping up? We won't make it a long call tonight because I know that you've got some other appointments as well. What are your top 3 tips you'd like to conclude and perhaps share with us? top tips for running your business or just over?
For running your business, or how can you maintain to show up, as yourself? I mean, what's really important that you do to make sure that you have all that energy and focus? I mean, do you do something like, for example, specifically around sleeping, or making sure you have enough?
Yeah, so I think that our healthcare is so important to be able to show up as our best self in our business. So being a service-based business, it's important to me that I am looking after myself first so that I can show up for my clients every day. And there's nothing worse than, drudgingly pulling yourself out of bed, dragging your feet, and just not having any excitement about you and no energy or anything like that. Who wants to work with that kind of person? Or even speaking on the phone, you can tell the difference. So I would say definitely sleep 100%. I teach it to my clients, and it's important to me. I actually use an app on my phone that I teach my clients. If you've got an Apple iPhone, there's a bedtime button on there. You can click that. You can make sure you get your 8 hours sleep. You've got your little bell that goes off 30 minutes before. So I love that because I hear it and I'm like, oh, and my husband hears it and he's like, oh, it's bedtime, especially if you're watching a show or something, or if I'm sitting in the office, it's that reminder like, Melissa, come on, get out of the office. So, and having a bedtime routine means we can put our phones away, we can take away the blue lights. So we actually start to lower our cortisol levels and really start to de-stress and get our body in the right rhythm, ready for a proper night's sleep. And then you're more likely to have a good quality sleep. I recommend having a bedtime routine and doing the things that support you to have that great night's sleep. So making sure the room is clean, the bed is made, and you've got your diffuser going with the beautiful essential oils, whatever you're feeling that you need to make yourself feel peaceful and calm. So I think that's
your bedtime routine. Does that start like half an hour before you actually go to bed? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, 30 minutes. And, I think that is also a way that we are touching in with our self-care and our self-love, right? Because then we're focusing back on ourselves. We've got that time to, make sure the kids are in bed if they're not already, or say goodnight, sort the pets out, sort the hubby out for my situation. And, making sure that, I'm not thinking about all the things I have to do the next day because they're already done. I've already planned out the next day or put that stuff aside. So it's a nice slow rhythm of getting myself ready for bed. So that's definitely number one tip, is a good night's sleep. The other tip I would recommend is to drink plenty of water. There are so many people out there that don't see the value of drinking water, or just, aren't making it part of their practice throughout the day. And, dehydrated body is not going to have a good night's sleep. So again, I recommend apps for that. There's some great water tracking apps, especially if you're not in the habit of drinking water. And you can just do simple things like adding some fresh fruit to your water, or if you've got certain things that you can put in there to enjoy it, if you don't like the taste of water, and trying to really work and make sure that you're getting at least 2 liters of water a day, if not more, to really hydrate your body. It makes your brain work really well, so it's only going to do more for your business. It's going to give you more energy as well, just like the sleep will. And then we show up for our clients in our services or whatever we need to do, showing up for ourselves at full capacity.
That's interesting because, for me with water, I try and drink more during the day, as you know, but often if it gets to 8 o'clock, I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't drank enough water. Then I drink, a couple of bottles, but then I wake myself up during the night because I need to go to the loo because I've had the water too late. So I can understand what you're saying. It's spreading it out during the day, isn't it, and having that good hydration. So that's something definitely I need to work on myself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why the reminders are good, because it just takes like a month of doing it and then you get back into the habit. And your body actually starts to crave it. So the more water you drink, the more you really notice your body craves it. So you don't actually need those reminders, because your body says, I'm really thirsty. And I think that a lot of the time we actually are thirsty and we're not tired and we're not hungry, we're actually thirsty. So when we start listening to our body, we start to recognize those signals a bit better as well. The third thing, I was thinking of so many different things, but I'm going to give you like what I think is so important because I'm a nutrition coach and a huge advocate about food. And I would say green vegetables. It might sound boring,
Oh, yum.
stuff that makes your body hum. If you want to have really clean cells, if you want to have really good immune system, if you want to be able to handle really, work a long day and you want to be able to use your brain and you want to be full of life and energy, when you have huge amounts of green veggies, like I can tell when I go on holiday, if I'm away and I don't get, when we used to, not that we can fly anymore, but when we used to go to Bali every year, it would just be that week to 2 weeks of not eating as many green veggies because you're over there. And I would come back, I'd be craving it, but I would also notice like how tired and slow I would get. And all I would do was just crave it. And then I would have a whole week of dark green, leafy green veggies in juices, and my energy would be right back up again. So I know when I've got something important on, that's what I do. I make sure my water intake is really, really high. My sleep is really good and quality sleep. And I really smash out the green veggies. And I make sure it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, and juices as well, so that I'm oozing green coming out in my skin.
They're great tips. Oh, thank you so much, Melissa. I've really enjoyed chatting with you tonight. And I think those 3 tips, like you said, the sleep, the water, and the green veggies, the good nutrition, is really a rocking combination to stay on top of building your successful business and also, like you say, the self-care, because I think a lot of business owners, we get so wrapped up in wanting to achieve our goals and help our clients, we often forget about our own self-care.
Absolutely.
So I think those tips that you shared will be really valuable for those that are watching the replay as well. And I'd also like to say, I'm sure Melissa will drop underneath the post here her contact details if you want to connect with her, and you never know, she may have something free for us, or a gift, or even a link to one of the apps that you recommend. That if someone wants to download the sleep app or the water app onto their phone, you could recommend perhaps which ones that you find are useful for yourself and your clients. That would be wonderful.
Definitely, I'd love to do that.
Okay, well, that's lovely. Well, thank you so much for your time, and remember, stay inspired and thriving in your businesses, and reach out if there's anything that you'd like to see talked about on this Inspired to Thrive series. I will certainly find the expert in that area to come along and talk to us. Okay, bye-bye for me.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.